Hello. If this is the second time you've seen me on YouTube, well, that means you are an avid game player. Roughly around the same time last year, I made a video on Black Myth Wukong's first game-playing trailer video. This year, the second game-playing video has just been released. Initially, I wasn't really thinking about making another video, but I've seen my regular drama review viewers telling me that they have seen on the internet people were wondering where was that Chinese lady. So this is that video. A couple of things before I start to talk about this newly released game-playing video. First, I am not a game player in any sense. The only game I play, which I actually haven't played for over a year, is Sims. And I only like the part where I build a house for the people. I don't even bother to have people living in them. This video will contain no comment on the actual game-playing experience. That is left to the professional game YouTubers to do. The second is, this game-playing video actually contains a lot of details. Referred to the original novel, Journey to the West, 西游记, referred to the very famous 1980s television series, also referring to Chinese history, architecture, religion, everything. So I subjectively picked out the things that I think might be interesting to international viewers, and I will have it time-coded so that it's easier for you to find topics I'm talking about throughout. Also, the stuff that I'm gonna talk about come from my own research plus me watching other people making analysis videos. If they say something, I go double check and see if that's true, and then I put it in this video. So I'll link some of the Bilibili Chinese content creators videos that I've looked at and used as a reference for my own video, but they're all in Chinese and without English subtitle. This time I'm not gonna run the trailer as I talk about it. I'll just tell you the time code and then with the screenshot so that you can go and check out that particular part. Right from the beginning of this video, you hear a narrator's voice. At the end of the video, you kind of have an idea about who this person would be. This person is addressing the group of the characters that are the central characters of 西游记, Journey to the West. You want this, you want that, you want that, but you are all gonna fail. This copy is probably written specifically just for this video. I doubt it will come out of the game exactly like that, but the people that he is referring to are the 4 two-legged characters in this core group. First is Tang Seng, the Tang monk. Within Journey to the West IP, not really such a lovable character. Then another monk who is really a river god slash demon, however you want to categorize him. Not a good person to start with, but eventually turned good and decided to become a disciple of the monk, protect him and help him on his way to the West, although he is pretty much useless. Then it is addressing the monkey, the core character of Journey to the West, also kind of the core character of Black Myth Wukong, but then the Black Myth Wukong probably isn't the original Wukong. We will have to wait till the game comes out to know exactly who that is. And then it is the pig who, likes to eat. And that's probably the only thing he likes, plus pretty girls. And it totally excluded the horse. Often people just forget it's actually 5 people's team, and the horse is actually a dragon who is actually a prince. And he only takes the horse's form because the monk needs a ride. Nobody cares about the horse. I'm very sad about that. Around time code 18 second, you see a shot of quite incredible carvings. This is taken from real site in China, Dazu 石刻, Dazu rock carving, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is located in the place Dazu, which is from the city Chongqing, which is also my hometown. One of the most interesting cities, topographically speaking, in the world. So if you ever want to travel to China, highly recommend you travel to my hometown, Chongqing. Pick one day out of your schedule, join a local tour package, which will just take one day, get on the bus, travel to Dazu, go see this incredible site. The carvings were made between the 9th and 13th century. Throughout those hundreds of years, people kept on adding stuff, so it eventually became what it looks like today. Around 34 second, you'll see a low angle shot slowly tracking towards a stone fence that seems to be outside of a building that looks like the edge of a temple. In the middle are 3 bigger figures, on the side are 2 smaller figures, and they are deities or gods from Taoism, Fu, Lu, Shou, representing good luck good fortune and longevity. So from that, we can tell that shot is taking place in a Taoism temple. Around second 53, you'll see a quite interesting statue that looks like it's on the top of a roof of a building. And it is the center statue that sits on the beam of the roof of a temple. It is filled with details, and it's kind of suggesting black myth is black myth because it has twisted stuff that is not really following the canon. You'll see at the bottom there are 3 turtle-like animals. They all have Buddha head on their back. The middle one is particularly big, and standing on top of that big turtle is a fat-bellied monk. First, the turtle. It is a mythological animal called Ba Xia, or many other names. It's an auspicious mythological creature. Often it functions as something that holds an important stone tablet, often sits on its back in temples or in other type of ancient important architecture. This round-bellied monk is a Chinese version of the Bodhisattva / Buddha Maitreya. In Buddhism, it is considered that our current world is still under the time of current Buddha, which is the Buddha who lived around 2,500 years ago in ancient India. Although it's been 2,500 years, we're still within his teaching time frame. And then in the future, when the teaching time of our current Buddha runs out, a new Buddha would come, and that would be the future Buddha. That will be the Maitreya Buddha. That will be in Chinese, 弥勒佛. So this Buddha is currently technically still a bodhisattva who is just one step away from full total enlightenment, but because he has already being recognized by our current Buddha as the future comer, so people would call him both a bodhisattva and a Buddha. The classic Maitreya Buddha looks like all the other Buddhas, but in China, 弥勒佛 often takes the shape of this fat-bellied, laughing, happy monk. Reason being, there was a very famous monk during Wu Dai period who is a very fat monk with big belly, always smiling. He holds a huge sack on his shoulder all the time, and he was later remembered as 布袋和尚, the sack monk. And he is also recognized or agreed upon later by Buddhism community as the actual incarnation of Maitreya Buddha or Bodhisattva. So, in Chinese Buddhism, the big-bellied version is the better known and more beloved one. If you go to a Buddhist temple, usually this Buddha statue will show up in the last building because he's the future one. The reason I say it's very creepy and not really the canon design of this type of statue is you will not see Buddha's head on the turtle back really like that in a proper temple. So this is showing this is not a normal temple. This is not the good temple. At the time mark minute 1, you will see a shot from the inside of a temple of a grand golden many hands Buddha statue. 千手观音, 1,000 hands, Guan Yin, the most popular bodhisattva in Chinese culture. It is 100% totally taken from the real statue, and it is also located at Dazu rock carving site. Another reason for you to go and visit and see it in its magnificence. Around the time code 1 minute and 20 seconds, the narrator is still talking, and he's saying if you cannot put down your obsession, you are bound to fail. But the Chinese line actually means if you cannot put down your idol. So I think that's just a translation decision. But the interesting thing is, as those lines are spoken, you see the camera pan across a group of statues, and they're totally 100% based on real things. There is a temple called Yu Huang Miao, Jade Emperor Temple. So from the name you can tell it is a Taoism temple located in the province Shanxi in the city Jincheng. And the statues you see in this video are taken from the real clay statues within that temple. They were all made in Yuan dynasty and managed to be kept until today. Look at the photos of the real statue and the game. It's almost 100% copied. Not sure how they did it, whether they just used the photo and then recreated it 3D somehow, or whether they actually went there to 3D scan the actual statue. I can't tell, I'm not an expert in that, but I'm super impressed by it. And those statues are 28 in total number, although in the video you only see a couple of them, and they are the 28 constellations in traditional Chinese astrology and also in mythology. The ecliptic of Earth is divided in 4 directions and 4 quadrants: north, south, east, west, and each section of the ecliptic in the sky has 7 constellations, so multiply by 4, 28 in total. And in the story of Journey to the West and also in mythology, each of those constellations is represented by a god or a deity, and the fact is they're not very high-ranking gods in the Taoism heavens structure. They do the dirty work but don't get really recognition. And you see our main character, the monkey, transform from a statue within that temple, which is one of the monkey's superpowers, and he walks into another kind of courtyard of a temple and see a huge statue. It is also one of the 28 statues from that real temple. This is the statue of the deity Kang Jinglong, which belongs to the east section of the ecliptic, and this is a very important row that we'll come across later. Around minute 2:10, our main character walks into this snowfield with frozen zombies, and you hear a music instrument playing the very classic, very representative, very important Chinese ancient instrument qin, the 7-string music instrument that looks like this. If you're interested to find out more about it, I do have a couple of videos on my channel talking about qin. Just type in QIN in the search and you'll find them. Minute 2:28, we see a really big monkey on the roof. This monkey is probably the game's design of a type of monkey that exists in the story of Journey to the West called 赤尻馬猴. Literally means red buttocks, giant monkey. And he's wearing red pants in the gameplay, so I'm just guessing naked butt that's red is not really censorship friendly. Because of that red pants, people decided and feel that it must be that character. In the novel Journey to the West, it's been mentioned that there are 4 types of unusual, special monkey or apes that do not belong to any other categories of primates, and they each have very strong but different powers. The first one being the stone monkey, which is Sun Wukong, who was born out of a stone. The second one is this one, 赤尻馬猴, also a very powerful monkey. The third one being Tong Biyuan, which is long-armed ape, and then the fourth one being 六耳猕猴, 6 ears monkey, which is one of the major characters in Journey to the West, who can copy Sun Wukong exactly and almost impossible to tell the difference. Then we see a battle display of these 2 characters fighting in snow. I just have to say the snow texture is so good. When I saw the human movement, even the stick going through the snow, I was very impressed about how realistic it looks. During this battle, you'll see a new skill that you haven't seen before. In the first trailer of our main character, he drew a circle that's like fire around him, and it protects him. One of Sun Wukong's trick in the book and also in the television series in the 80s, often when he has to go away to do something, he will use this magic, draw a circle around him and say, 师傅, just stay in this circle and nobody can harm you. No one can get in. You'll be 100% safe, guaranteed, if you don't get out. And you know what happens, right, with this type of plot. Usually when he leaves, something will happen to make the monk step out of the circle and get grabbed by all kinds of monsters and demons, and the monkey has to go and save his 师傅 again. As Game Science has promised, they will use reference to the original IP, the novel, all the skills, all the weapons from the book. Now you see one of its iteration. Very exciting. After this fight, you see a bird with a human head flies in. The lines that this character speaks doesn't really have English subtitle, but basically he's kind of mocking at our main character and saying, you may have skills, but you're unfortunate, or you don't have the fate to get what you want. You should just give up or basically just stay here, but you're here. You must be like all the previous people who came here. You are all looking for that thing. We do not know what that thing is kind of a hook, and you'll have to play the game to find out what that thing is. Then you hear the bird say 小西天土地, calling himself. 小西天 is little west heaven, which is not west heaven. And we'll talk about that later. It has a lot to do with one of the plot in the book. 土地 is earth. It is the type of localized little deities who's in charge of an area of land. You see a potato version of this type of local small gods in the first trailer. And this is a different type that has wings. And it may be based on a couple of mysterious creatures in Chinese mythology, but they're different types that have human head and bird wings, so not sure which one it's based on, or maybe it's just the concept that's being used. And you see our main character turns into a bat and follows this local god and got led to frozen ice lake and epic review of a white dragon. I think for most game reviewers, when they saw that white dragon, that was the most exciting part for them, and I would agree, it looks epic. First, let's talk about dragon, and then this particular dragon, who most people in China believe this dragon is. Chinese dragon is different from Western dragons. In the West, you see dragons mostly as evil creatures, having bat-like wings and breathe fire. Whereas Chinese dragons, they're more like the water side of magic animals. And they don't have wings. There's only one type that has wings, but it's not bat wings. It is actually a mixture of multiple animals. Supposedly, a dragon would have the head of a camel, the antlers of a deer, the eyes of a rabbit, the ears of a cow, a neck looks like a snake, and its belly looks like clam, and its scale looks like carps, and it has eagle's claws, and it has palms of tiger. Yeah, taking the cool part of different animals and almost Frankenstein it into one mythological creature. Without wings, dragon is able to fly. Dragons are also associated with weather. And often you see in folklores and mythology, they have the ability to control rainfall or thunderstorm. Throughout the thousands of years of Chinese history, dragon gradually morphed its shape and style until what we see today. It wasn't until Yuan dynasty that dragons have been decided in its final type of shape and look and its association with emperor. After that, only the emperor himself or the princes, who are emperor's sons, can wear a dragon on their body. And the way to distinguish what type of dragon it is about how the head is positioned and also how many fingers they have on their claws. The 5 fingers are reserved for the emperor and the princess, and the 4-finger ones and 3 ones are actually not dragon but a different type called Mang, which literally means python, but it's still a mythological creature just one level down, and it's used for other aristocrat or important officials. But that didn't really got consolidated until Ming dynasty. So coming back to the white dragon we see in this game-playing video, if you pay attention, its front legs have 5 claws, its back legs have 4 claws. It may just be an aesthetic choice made by the designer. I'll still call it a dragon because it does have 5 claws of its front legs. But what is this dragon? Well, this is the dragon form of that statue earlier, Kang Jinglong, one of the deities who represents the east quadrant of the ecliptic Kang Xiu, the Kang constellation. Jing means metal, 金木水火土, metal, wood, water, fire, earth. In traditional culture, these 5 elements are represented by 5 different colors. The one coordinates with metal is white, which is why people think this definitely is Kang Jinglong, a character in Journey to the West. Long means dragon. And if you look carefully, you'll see a horn on the top of the head of this dragon, a single one, which is also a defining feature of this character, Kang Jinglong, in Journey to the West. The interesting thing about this character is, in the book, he is on the side of Sun Wukong. In the gameplay, you see they're actually fighting against each other. Well, that is one part of the mystery of what is really the story of Black myth Wukong. After this epic fight, they fall into the water and you hear the narrator's voice come back. He's talking again, very annoying. He says, at the conference or meeting of Ullambana, Buddha said these things. First, what is Ullambana? It's a very important festival in Buddhism, but also in traditional Chinese culture. It happens on the 15th day of the 7th lunar month, which only took place about 2 weeks ago, and it is the traditional Chinese ghost festival. Supposedly, on the night, the gate of the ghost world will open. All the ghosts who could not travel to our human realm can just that one night. And a lot of ceremonies will take place on the day to appease the ghosts and also pay respect to ancestors, and also not a good night to go out alone middle of the night for obvious reasons. But in Buddhism, this is also a very, very important day. It is often a day that huge ceremonies are held in temples to help trapped ghosts, hungry ghosts, to be fed, to be appeased, and to be able to travel to their next stage of reincarnation. 盂兰盆节 in Chinese. During that conference, Buddha has taught everybody about 5 important things. The 5, you can translate that as commandments or precepts or rules. It is the basic 5 type of things you are not allowed to do if you want to become a proper Buddhist. 不杀生, 不偷盗, 不邪淫, 不妄语, 不饮酒. Meaning, no killing, no stealing, no misconduct in sexual behaviors, including many different types of misconducts, no wrong speech, including lying, including gossiping, including instigating fight between people. The final one is no drinking of alcohol. I guess in ancient time there weren't that many intoxication stuff laying around, so wine is picked out as the one representing that. In contemporary life, it gets extended to not using addictive drugs and substance. But this narrator, he starts to attack each rule. Such as, if there is no killing, then the hatred in this world will never end. Such as, if you cannot drink, then the emotional upheavals will never get appeased. Now you can tell this narrator is not a good person. This is the anti-Buddha, almost, type of role. Also, within this grand speech of this character, you hear 3 more rules that he attacked. These are not really standard rules from Buddhism. I'm guessing this is the game developers copywriting, adding their own extra lines in this speech. This video is already getting very, very long. Thank you for your patience. We're gonna run through 2 or 3 more points and that will be the end of it. At the time code, minute 10, 32nd, the shot goes into an interior of a quite magnificent wall of a temple, and the things are moving and talking to each other. And this is very likely, pretty much 99%, to be 小雷音寺, little Lei Yin temple in the story Journey to the West. Supposedly, the Buddha is living in Lei Yin Si, thunder, sound, temple. But this one is 小雷音寺, little thunder, sound, temple. So it's not the real one. It is a copycat one. In the book, it goes that there is a temple that is called 小雷音寺 that our traveling pack arrived at. The shifu and monk, being who he is, believed it must be the temple where Buddha resides and they finally reached their destiny. Wukong was like, no, it smells fishy. And the monk insisted, even if it's not the temple that we're looking for, still, it's a temple, so it must have Buddha statue in it. We have to go and pay respect. And very soon, the pack will find out, and the monk is correct. It is not a good place to go. The Monkey King encounters a very difficult enemy called Huang Mei, Yellow Brow. And he has a very strong weapon that we'll talk about at the last bit of this video that managed to trap Sun Wukong in it, and Sun Wukong couldn't get out. In that part of the plot in the book, there are multiple fights and battles happened between the monkey and the bad guy, and the monkey lost. Eventually, they only got saved because outside help came in. And this yellow brow bad guy, can you guess who he is and where he comes from and who is his backing? In the most ironic way, this is actually a servant boy of the future Buddha, Maitreya, Bodhisattva / Buddha, the big belly, smiling monk. Yellow Brow escaped from his duty, got down to human realm, took away a couple very strong magical weapons and stuff, and decided, I'm just gonna be the king of this mountain. And this is a very classic kind of thing that happens over and over and over in the story of Journey to the West. A lot of powerful creatures who are actually servants to bigger bosses decided to escape their duty and wreak havoc in the human realm. If you think about how that may be related to a type of political satire to the human politics and power structure, depending on from which angle you read the story, there are a lot of things to dig out of it. So in the book itself, eventually nobody can defeat this yellow brow. They have to go and grab Maitreya Buddha, who is the owner of this misbehaving servant. Sometimes certain enemies are just impossible to defeat. You just have to find the power behind it, who backs it up, and then that person can just take care of it in a snap of fingers. Isn't that interesting? So among the talking figures on that beautiful wall carving, you see this yellow robe, big belly, but looking very angry and not laughing character turns around and said, 既见未来 为何不败? That is the clue that made everybody decided this definitely is the part of the yellow brow plot, because it says, since you've seen future, why don't you bow down to me? Future means the future Buddha. So this yellow-robed person says he himself is the Maitreya Buddha of the future. This, probably 99%, is the yellow brow, who just shape-shifted himself into his owner Buddha. One thing I want to point out is looking at that grand carving on the wall, it's also based on real things in China. It's likely to be a mixture of two different temples existing in two different locations. One is also in the province of Shanxi called Xixian Xiaoxitian. Xixian is the county's name. Xiaoxitian is Little West Heaven. And this temple contains some hanging carvings. It was made during Ming Dynasty. The other temple is located in Xi'an. Lantian, Shuiluan. Lantian is the place name and Shuiluan is the temple's name. Within this temple, you can also see this kind of hanging over structure of thousands of Buddhas carving. I think the number is around 3,700 individual carvings. And this temple is even older. It started in Tang Dynasty. Afterwards, during different dynasties, it got rebuilt over and over again. At the very end of the game playing video, you see a snowy mountain, a huge metal thing, and the camera is close to it and slowly pulling away. This is likely to be the Jin Nao, the weapon of Yellow Brow. It is the weapon that he used to trap Sun Wukong, and Sun Wukong couldn't break out. And the Kang Jin Long, the white dragon in the game version, used its horn to jam into it to open a crack so that the monkey can come out. And you can hear this knocking sound of the metal, so it's probably suggesting the monkey is inside of that Jin Nao. Similar to Western music instrument, the cymbal, two pieces of metal dish hitting together and making a beat. And as it fades out, you see the characters show up. 斗败艰险又出发, fighting off the difficult challenges, and we start our journey again. This is a line coming from the ending song from the 1980s television series of Journey to the West. And the most classic line from this song is asking, where is the path? The path is underneath your feet. 斗败艰险又出发 is one of the lines in the middle of this song. And I think this comes from game science's very genuine expression of how many difficulties they have already come across and they will come across in the future to keep developing this game. In the year past, a lot of things have happened. For example, Tencent still managed to stick its hands into this business and got 5% of its share. This game developing team, they've also done some controversial thing on Chinese internet, such as they send out these announcements looking for game developers to join the team, but they are all written in extremely inflammatory languages that got really bashed by the internet. Realistically, don't look forward to it before 2023. In that case, we're likely to see another trailer a year from now, 2022, August or September, maybe the third trailer, maybe the final trailer before the final thing comes out. Who knows? And in this new trailer, I do see a great improvement from the first trailer in terms of using references of real things in China. The first trailer actually has a lot of Japanese vibe architecture that is not from China. Whereas this time, second trailer, I do think they intentionally and carefully did research and start to use a lot of Chinese element. So that should conclude this video. Thank you for watching Avenue X. If you are a Chinese drama viewer, you can stay, subscribe, and then watch my future videos on Chinese dramas and occasionally on Chinese culture. If not, well, still, thank you for watching my video, and let's hope I get to see you again in a year's time. Bye for now. Please take care.